Hello, friends. Hello, everyone. Welcome to enLIGHTen, where we talk about creative consecration through Christ. Oh my goodness, so many wonderful things happening, and especially conference. Seriously, that was like amazing. My heart, my soul, just enjoying every bit of wisdom that was shared with us. And so much light, so much goodness, so much great counsel. I'm so grateful that we have technology that we can just like turn around and go and listen to those talks again and ponder them and make them part of our daily lives and think celestial, right? Oh my gosh, so exciting, you guys. From and we'd love to know where you're watching from, because this is a discussion, right? Like, we have people from all over the world, and it's pretty fascinating. So, hello, Crystal. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning. Good morning. How are ya?
Oh, I'm good this morning. So excited.
Good. Fantastic. That is so great. I know we usually talk. We haven't even had a chance to talk. It's been so busy and crazy, but we're here. That's all that matters. And we have a great connection. So
Yes, we're
it's
glad about
fantastic.
that.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm just still in the awe of conference and just the spirit that it carries. It's so incredible. Our son Ian actually had a chance to go inside for the very first time of his life to see it live. And
Oh,
he just could not stop smiling. He had a smile ear to ear. He's like, Mom, it was awesome. Like, everyone singing, and the spirit that he felt there, he was like, it was incredible. So we have people from Washington, Park City, Miami. This is so
wow.
fun. Oh,
Yeah, talking
I
about
love it.
talking about conference, it was by far, I think, my favorite. All conferences are great, but this one, I don't know. There was just a spirit about it that was so much stronger. Maybe I was more prepared. I don't know. Um, I did a lot of things to try to prepare myself this time to make sure I was ready to hear the messages. And it was so sweet and tender, and every message just seemed to speak to my heart.
Yes, I agree. I know it helps to have go in with the mindset of what do I want to get out of it? Like, how can I learn more about Jesus? And it's incredible how when we go in that way, people I mean, the talks speak right to our hearts.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I miss Elder Holland so much. I'm just
Oh,
like, I wish he would like write his talk or something and someone would read it for him, or I
I
just
was,
love him.
yeah, I was hoping he was going to do that this time, but he
Yes.
must still be trying to recover.
Yep. So he's definitely in our prayers. But oh, what a grand gathering, and how much do we need that spiritual boost? Like every 6 months. It's amazing we have that. Oh, so fun. Well, welcome everyone, and feel free. Of course, we love questions. We love the comments you have. We love those. They're so precious because this is really a discussion, and so it is so wonderful to hear as we're speaking. I'm going to try to like respond as well to the comments, because that's always the funnest part. It is so fun. So Crystal chose this piece, you guys, and we're going to be talking about gifts from above. So this is our artwork for today, and maybe the covenant promises if we go there. I have it. If we go there,
Okay.
I brought it. So Crystal, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I know you've been here with
Okay.
me before, but we have new people every time. So please
Okay.
tell us a little bit about
So
yourself.
I'm a Southern girl. I was born in Texas, raised in Alabama, but I've now lived in Utah for the last 20 years. I have 5 children. My husband and I are going on almost 20 years of marriage. I own a gymnastics gym because gymnastics is our passion in our family. The kids do get a choice. I don't force them into gymnastics at all. They get a choice. I have 2 gymnasts and I have 2 cheerleaders, and then my son was cello and track. And I have a son on a mission. He's in Paris, France right now, and he's doing really good. He was able to finally buy a cello out there. So he's excited to be able to share his testimony through music with the people in France. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I love talking and sharing my testimony with people. So it truly is a blessing to be able to be here with you and be able to share just how much I love the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's so fun to have you. This is fantastic. Oh, I want to get his music, like his cello music. Cello is like one of my top favorite instruments. I love it.
And he got to play with the Utah Youth Symphony.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so all through high school he played with them, and I mean he still has a lot of learning to do, but I was listening to his senior recital right before he left on his mission. It was such a blessing to go, look where you've come with this gift. And he still had, I mean, talking about gifts today, that is a gift for him. And he still has a ways to go. And so that's why I'm excited that now in the mission field, they get to play their instruments. And his mission president said, yeah, you can buy a cello. You just have to carry it around. So.
Wow. What determination, this is so sweet. Oh my gosh. And to think about how we can connect. I think partially why we have these gifts is so we can connect too with each other.
Oh, 100%.
And what a what a powerful way that he gets to connect with people through music, right, as an ambassador of Jesus and light. That is such an amazing way, and that's who he is. It's one of his many gifts, and I think that's so important. My son London is in Denmark, and he's a soccer player, so like use that. That's one of your gifts, like start playing on P-Day, whatever. Just like talk to people about who you are, and because God doesn't want us to hide those things. He's like, no, you shine with what I've given you. So I think that's music or athletic abilities, whatever the case might be. And we'll be talking exactly about that. So I'm so glad you mentioned that, like we're talking about our gifts.
Yeah, it's just natural because that is what it is. With your son Landon, you should tell him as he sees kids out playing in the street, just play with them. So I served a mission in Brazil, and I only played soccer for a couple of years after I got injured with gymnastics. And that was one of the things I would do as the kids would be playing in the street. I just go play with them, and it builds relationships. Even though you may not get to share the message of Jesus Christ, it builds relationships of trust, which then allows you to be able to do more.
Oh, amen to that. That is such a good advice, because you don't have to just feel constrained just to P-Day, right? Just jump in and try to make that friendship, so you can teach them later, hopefully. But you're right.
So really fast, there's a comment about a daughter and her companion were the ukulele sisters. Yes. So that's how they shared their message. That's so cool.
I love ukulele too, because it's so little and you can take it anywhere. Like it's this cute one of the elders here played ukulele, and my daughter just loved it so much she bought a ukulele, and now everywhere we go she brings it and she plays For the Beauty of the Earth. It's the one song she knows on it.
That's fun.
For the beauty of the earth. And it's just so pretty. We'd go to like a beautiful place and she just pulls out the ukulele and then let's glorify God,
Well, that's exactly what it does. It brings in the spirit, because that's her gift of thanks to God as she plays. So I love that.
Yes, how cool that ukulele. I know so many different ways to connect with others and glorify our God. I think that's just so amazing. So what made you choose this piece? Like what was in your heart?
There's a lot. So over this last year, so I deal with some chronic illnesses, and over the years of dealing with that, I have let myself fall into this trap of feeling that I have not been blessed with gifts and I don't have anything to give, because I get too focused on what I can't do instead of what I can do. And so this piece of just being embraced and wrapped with the gifts from God and from heaven, it made me remember how much we've been given in this life, and that we are children of God, which empowers us and gives us every gift that he has. And I love, so when I reached out to you going, okay, I want something about the temple, and you shared this one with me. As you look up, you can see, I would say, ancestors looking down. And then you see the little girl in white underneath the blanket. And to me, that's just, our posterity is there to bless us and to help us. I mean, generations before us, generations to come, they're all there to help us find and to share this gift and the gifts that we've been given.
Yes. Oh, it's so true. Like I wanted them to be so much part of this piece because they are part of our lives. Those angels, those ancestors, people that have gone before us, right? Like I love how Elder Holland always says that they are even much more interested in our lives than we are, that our own selves, you know, they want to be part of your life.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I'll share a story. So when I was called on my mission, and I was down in the Sao Paulo temple one day at the NTC, I had this. My grandmother died before I was born, so I never met my grandmother. And as I was sitting there in the temple, I had this such a strong feeling that I needed to get to know her, and I needed to pray about her. And so as I served in the temple, that was 22 years ago. And over these 22 years, I've been able to get to know my grandmother as I serve in the temple. And it's this beautiful blessing that I never could have had without the temple and the powers of the temple. And you know, as Elder Holland speaks, and Sister Nelson, I just recently reread her book on covenant keepers. She talks about it, and she talks about the angels that are there to help us and to pray for them. And as we do, we can get to know them. They can bring and help us in our lives with so many different things.
It's so true. My dad, you know, who recently passed away, he passed away like 2 years ago. And it's been so tough because he, like, he would always do this. My eyes are on you. Like he would go like, and literally since I was a little girl, he always would defend me, you know, his eyes. He would always be there for me. Like we live very close to the ocean, so I have this tendency to swim far out in the ocean, which is kind of crazy, but I just love it so much. It's one of my temples when I am in the ocean. Like I just feel God's power and beauty. And so he's always like, before I go out on a long swim,
Mm-hmm.
he would be like, I watch you. Don't worry. I've got you. You know, like, and I am safe. I feel like I'm okay because I know he's got me. And that's why I really wanted to have these ancestors, because they still have us, even if they're not like physically with us. I don't know if you could see them. They're right. So there's one right here, and one right there, like poking their heads out, symbolically, like from heaven, looking down on us. That they still have their eyes on us. And the power that, like, sometimes he would come and he would literally help me with the shadows, and he would say, actually, you need to change this, you need to fix this, you know, you got to do this better, like let's
Mm-hmm.
give it a little more shadow. And he'd be like literally there with me in my studio, and I still feel him. This is so amazing because, like, it's those nudges, those little like impulses, well, do this, like that, you know, like I could hear his voice. Like it's crazy. It
No,
is.
yeah,
Oh,
100% agree with you. So my other grandma that I did know, she was a temple worker for years. She loves the temple. And now I'm a temple worker. And when I'm in the temple, there's so many times that I feel her. She's like, here, I brought you this person. Do the work for him. Get it done. And it's so fun that there's days that as I'm doing this work that I'll pray and be like, Grandma June, I need you here with me. Bring those people. Let the patrons feel the spirit of these people. And they are in the temple. It's, I mean, you can feel them outside the temple, but in the temple, it's an amazing blessing that we've been giving to be able to be close to our ancestors and to know them in ways that we couldn't know them here on this earth. Or like you said, just to be able to, they can continue to help where they've always helped here on earth.
you know, it's interesting because I love that. I love that you are a temple worker, because the veil is so thin. Like you really, and I think this whole conversation today is so tied in with the temple and our covenants and that power that comes from going there, being partakers of those covenants with God and binding ourselves to Him. It is so powerful, so amazing. And one of the things I was thinking as I was working on this is kind of crazy because my dad, he's always been like this amazing painter for me, amazing, incredible artist, but he was never really like professionally established. He applied to university 4 times in Sofia, Bulgaria, but he wasn't a member of the Communist Party. They would shut him down every single time. It was just so frustrating for him. So in this talk that we were talking about, their many gifts, I love that talk so much by
It was good.
Marvin J. Ashton. He starts out saying, and I think this is so interesting, is like how it's so tragic when people feel like they don't have many gifts, like they don't have a gift, they don't. And my dad would feel, because he wasn't accomplished professionally, he would just feel this sense of, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not. And this was like his whole life. He has such I have paintings that he did. All right, this is the story, you guys. This is amazing story. But we pretended to be buyers on Craigslist to commission him, that's my husband and I, to create art, because then he felt like somebody else besides Adam and I, right, and our family is wanting his work. And so he painted these beautiful fairy tales from around the world that we pretended what we wanted for the first like 15. And then he caught on and he's like, oh my gosh, you guys, what are you doing? And then the beautiful thing was, though, he's like, I'm just gonna, because the grandchildren, they love them. The kids were like, whoa, every new one that was born, they're like, whoa, I want that in my room. No, I want that in my room. So this was kind of like, wait a minute. So he realized that it doesn't necessarily have to be this gift that you have to be professionally accomplished, that you can be in a museum, right? That
Right.
you can be accepted by the world and that standard. But how most importantly is these people around us in our household of faith. I love that. We just studied that in seminary with the kids, that it's the household of faith, that those around us, that we're touching their lives. So he kept on. He's like, you guys, he did over 40 of them.
Wow.
Like he could not stop. And like from Aladdin's adventures, like he kept coming. And it's incredible just realizing that the family, I mean, it's for the family. And we've always told him, you're amazing, keep doing it. But that was like the last final push. And he has been sporadically, but so grateful for this artwork that he created, like, because of the family and that sense that his gift is for us to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
that actually reminds me, listening to that Elder Bednar's talk this last conference about the last wagon. That is your dad.
yes,
And but yet he's blessed your life. I mean, look at where you are today because your dad.
he's here, he's with me. Oh yes,
his gift blessed you. And so even though it's not been seen by the world standards, it's done exactly what it needed to do. His gift blessed and did what it needed to do. And I have a parable of the cherry on top. I created this parable because as a gymnast, your goal, for me, my goal was always college gymnastics, right? And I went into the gym, I practiced every day, I traveled the world, I was doing all the meets I could do. I wanted to be seen by these colleges. Well, ninth grade year, the end of my ninth grade year, injury struck and I couldn't do gymnastics anymore. And it was devastating to me. And I felt very frustrated and angry with God of, why did you give me this gift? Everyone told me how talented I was. I've been told that I was this graceful, beautiful gymnast that was going to go so far, and then it's just taken away from me, right? And later in life, when I bought my gymnastics gym, some of the parents would turn up their noses at me because I had not done college gymnastics. And they're like, oh, wait, so you don't really know what you're talking about. And as I sat with one of my gymnasts who went through something similar, I realized that there's this parable. And it's, what are we doing on a daily basis? Every day that we go into the gym, every day that we're working towards whatever gift it is that God's given us, we are becoming who we need to become. And the cherry on college for gymnastics, college is the cherry on top. You know, it's one of those things, it doesn't define who you are. It doesn't make you anything better. It's just an extra blessing. And if your life and your path is supposed to go there, you're going to get that. But if not, it doesn't take away from this amazing person that you've become in the process of trying to reach something or working on that goal. And with Elder Ashton's talk, I just, if you don't mind, I just want to quote this one part.
Yeah.
He said, you were already mentioning it, but it says, it's a sad day for us and a sad day in the eyes of God. For us to conclude that we have no gifts when we judge ourselves by the stature, intelligence, grade point average, wealth, power, position, or eternal appearance is not only unfair, but unreasonable. And that part has stood out to me for the last couple of days since reading this talk, because we do so much. We judge ourselves by the world standards, not by who God is and what he sees us as and the gifts that he's given us. And I'm sure it does make Heavenly Father sad when we're like, oh, we have no gifts. I don't have anything to give. I'm a nobody. When he goes, you're my child. You are something great. And you have the ability to do whatever you want to do. I just need you to believe that. Sorry, I'm going to go off again. So Anthony Swett's book on the Holy Covenants, at the very end, he talks about I can't remember the name of the chapter, but pretty much it's, oh, yes. But one of the last chapters is like thinking eternal, seeing eternal. I can't remember exactly what it is, but in it, he talks about Moses' story. And Moses, kind of was like, I'm a nobody. I don't have anything. And then God taught him who he was and that he's a child of God. And as he recognized that, as he understood who he was as a child of God, all of a sudden, his abilities, that's why he's one of these great prophets, because he was able then to gain these gifts and to seek them out because he understood who he was.
Oh, it makes all the difference. It really does. It's like this realizing that your potential is like huge. Like you have your own individual. I heard this somewhere. Someone said, we're born originals and we try to be a duplicate by the end of our life. We have to try to die as a duplicate. What's the point? That's not how God wants us to be. We are not to be like other people. We are truly original. We each have such potential that God has bestowed upon us specifically to brighten the world and to bring the world and back to him. I mean, ultimately, right? I like what Raquel was mentioning. She said she was talking about like she feels wrapped around the spirit, the mantle of the spirit, the veil, heaven wrapped around me. I think this was kind of the idea here. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Raquel. This is so fun. You could see, like, I had this, like, the idea of the mantle. Really, it's God's power and his love, like, descending upon us. And I love the scripture on the mantle of charity. That's in D&C 88:25. And just for reference, but this is kind of what it's talking about, that we need that to be wrapped in. We need that mantle to come upon us. And I love that every time we go to the temple, we bask in that light, that power of God, and that love that he bestows upon us and wraps us with, that incredible mantle of charity, and the knowledge that our efforts matter, that we are doing it with him. We're not alone in this, and that he binds us together through that incredible love and the charity. And one of the things that it's interesting here, you see that there's like this lantern. I don't know if let me bring it up a little bit closer. What are
I was
your
just
thoughts?
thinking about
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking about that the other day, and what I saw in it. Sorry, I have this pesky fly that won't leave me alone. Um, I saw that as the mantle lays upon us, because as I was sitting in the temple this last week preparing for this and figuring out what it was that Heavenly Father wanted me to share, I felt, and someone talked about understanding and relearning our divine worth, and that's what I felt, was that we're being wrapped in this understanding of our divine worth, and as we do that, this light shines brighter, and that's the light we're to carry out to the world. But we can't carry that light, we can't share that light until we've received it and understand it ourselves. So I'd love
Yes.
to know why you put it, like what the purpose was of the lantern. That's just where my thoughts had gone.
Okay, so you know how much I love light. I mean, that's like my most favorite thing to talk about and to depict, right? And I wanted so much to kind of emphasize the importance of realizing that we have the gift, that it's bestowed upon us, but also to receive that gift. Because sometimes we are not receiving it the same way. Like we're not with open hearts, like receiving that gift. And I think it's interesting when we think about like the Holy Ghost, the admonition there is receive the Holy Ghost. So it's actively realizing it, that gift, and receiving it and working with it. So the lantern here was so interesting for me because I have it lit in this piece, right? You could see that it's lit up right now. And it's kind of the whole symbolism of that light that we each carry. And sometimes that light is not lit up. Like sometimes we kind of get caught and start to feel the bombarding of the world. We feel distracted. We feel like our light diminishes, like these lanterns are not always lit. And it was this idea of wanting, helping each other, helping, to keep relying on friends, on ways that we can keep that light burning. And the beauty of the gospel, that we have each other. Anywhere you go, anywhere in the world, you can find the church, you can find saints, you can find good people to help. And I just think it's like so important and powerful to consecrate our efforts to God and to strive to have that lantern lit in our lives, because I believe firmly that when we are using our gifts, we are allowing that light to shine. And it's so amazing. It's so interconnected, that when we get to use our gifts for God, for good, he helps this light to shine brighter than ever. And I know that the joy that really creativity and creating in general, using those gifts, brings to us. And it's crazy. Okay, so he goes in the talk. This is such a good talk for so many different reasons. That he's like, what about, listen to this. This is so cool. He's like, what about the less gifts that people don't really talk about, because they're not like seen out there visually. And I thought this was so, the gift of asking, the gift of listening, I thought that was so interesting. The gift of avoiding contention, that was pretty powerful. The gift of seeking that which is righteous. I mean, this goes along with the whole lantern light, right? I mean, he keeps on and on. I love, this is like probably one of my favorite gifts that he said and mentioned. He's like, the gift of being able to ponder.
That one was powerful.
Like, and even Jesus says that, right? He told the Nephites when he came, go and ponder about these words. This is like so amazing. Yes, Peggy, I did bring that book, and I was going to show that. So I'm glad you're actually quoting it. This is so fun. I had the page. I don't know. I closed it because I didn't know if I should show it or not. But now that you're quoting it, let me see if I can find it. I don't even know which page it is on. I should know. But I'll just, you know what, I will just read your quote, because this could take me a while to actually find it in the book, but this is so cute. You're saying, so we plead for help, for further light and greater love. Yes, President Monson, Peggy says, love shines light into dark places. We help each other by sharing our love and light and encouraging each other. Oh my gosh, that is so true. And that was this idea. And I love the Relief Society. I love their organization of the Relief Society so very much, because of that. Because of that importance that we have each other, that we strengthen each other, and we come together in this. And you know, like I mean, I can walk into Relief Society and I can look at the sisters and I can tell, like, you can just tell when someone's having a hard day. And sometimes it's me and they can tell, and sometimes it's not me and I have a little bit of light and help to share, you know. But it's so amazing how we just this, like, we need each other. We need each other to light up those lanterns and that light. And there's a cute little kids book, The Boy, the Horse, the Fox, and the Mole. I don't know if they even go in that order, but it's so cute. And he's saying, like, what is your strongest, your bravest word you've ever said? I'll put that in the story because it's such a good quote. And he said, so what is your strongest, bravest word you've ever said? And he said, help. And I thought, how interesting the horse would ever say that. But that means you're not giving up, that you need help to have that light, shining. And I think this is so amazing that we need, you know, when that light is not shining, we just need to ask for help. And yeah.
Oh, sorry, you finish yours and then I'll go.
That not to be afraid to ask for help for our light to shine.
You know, and isn't that funny? Because I'm not a person that likes to ask for help. So when I saw it, I couldn't see, you know, I saw ancestors helping, but I couldn't really see the people on this side of the veil helping. And now, as you explain all that, I recognize a weakness that I have and how that is a gift for others to be able to ask for help. And what a beautiful gift that is to seek, and that all of us need to seek to know how to ask.
Yes. And do you guys see the sparks? I almost forgot the sparks because I love the sparks in this piece. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the sparks. Like, you could see them. They're like all around here. They're pretty heavenly there. I hope you could see them up close. I hope it's in focus. But the sparks were this reminder of our heavenly gifts, and not forgetting that they're the divinity within us, to remind us of that importance of that divinity within each one of us. And I think we forget that part too. We so easily can forget that part, but it's so essential. Someone was saying, you know, in the comments, it's so hard for me to find my gifts. It's so hard for me to even realize what they are, you know. But I love the response to that. We need to work harder at speaking and thinking positively to ourselves first. Mm-hmm. Then it's easier to encourage others. Amen to that. And then it's easier when we are kind to ourselves. I mean, thou shalt love God, your neighbor as thyself, right? Then you're so willing to go out and help others discover their gifts. I think that's one of the quotes that Elder Ashton said. I thought it was so neat. He says, he's quoting Plato. He said that unexamined life is not worth living. I was like, wow, God has given each of us one or more special talents. And then he said, Socrates made this famous statement, that unexamined life is not worth living. But it just made me wonder, you know, how important it is to actually examine our lives, to realize, to go through that process, you know. So what are my gifts? What are my strengths?
Okay, so if you guys haven't done the personal Liahona journal, it is amazing, because like I said, I've been struggling to see my gifts and my strengths with my chronic illnesses. And so I started that this year. And it's really making me examine, and it's based off your patriarchal blessing. So it's a study of your patriarchal blessing. And it's helped me see things that I didn't realize have been in there. I mean, I pretty much have my patriarchal blessing memorized because of how many times I've read it. But sometimes our eyes and our hearts aren't open to really see the gifts that we've been given. And I've been able to see things in such a new light, in such a new way. And I'm so grateful for just those ideas of how to seek this new thing. But one of the other things that I've learned in life is some of my greatest gifts are the gifts that actually have the most opposition. It's the gift that I get criticized for more than not. So over the last few years, I've learned that one of my gifts is to be bold. And bold can be a good thing and a negative thing, which I think is the case in all gifts, right? But I am not afraid to speak what I believe. I'm not afraid to say that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go around and tell people that they're wrong. I do it in different ways, but it doesn't, I can get on and I can share with people my beliefs. I can, it doesn't scare me to share on social media. It doesn't scare me to get up in a testimony meeting and share. And I've recognized that that's a gift of being bold. And it is one of the gifts, though, that I've been put down on in my life of, well, you don't need to share. You speak too much. You need to learn how to be quiet. And there are truths in all of those things, because the gift of listening is a huge thing. And I'm not very good at that part because I like to speak, right? But I've also been able to see how that gift could be used for good and what a blessing it is in my life. And so, as you're examining, that is something to look at too. Is there something that you've been maybe criticized for because maybe you weren't using the gift correctly, and that you can start using it for good instead of maybe a negative thing?
Yes. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's so much, it takes work to find those gifts and our abilities. And one of the things that Elder Ashton mentioned is the gift to look for God for direction. And that's also in the spiritual treasures, the talk by President Nelson that he gave. He talks so much about asking God for that revelation. As you are a covenant keeper, God has promised to give you that revelation, and through the power of the priesthood. And I was like, wow, this is so powerful, because then we realize that he has promised that he's going to guide those efforts that we're trying to find. How can we best use our time? And then President Nelson says, you maybe some things are going to fall out of your life, things that you are doing that maybe you don't need to be doing. It reminded me of Sister Craig's talk a few conferences ago, where she was saying, what do I, start doing and stop doing? But he's like, the spirit of revelation, as you look for God, like that's the one of the gifts. Look for God for that direction. It is so powerful how he lets us know. I mean, it's a promise that as we keep our covenants, that is his promise, that I will grant you, I will be there, I will help you discover. We just need to want to discover those gifts. Yeah. And I feel like there's so many distractions, there's so many things stopping us from doing that, because we feel this fulfillment as we are creative. We feel this satisfaction, this joy that no other way does it come to us when we are using those gifts for God and to bless others. And of course, the evil one's gonna be like, oh no, you're not worth it. Don't even go there. But we are worth it, and that's the key. There's a great. Okay, I love this quote by. I'm gonna paraphrase it. It's Mother Teresa. So she's saying how she is a pencil in God's hand, and sometimes that pencil is broken, but she's still a pencil. He does all the thinking, he has all the grand ideas, he's working his magic power on the earth through her, through us, through all of us, even if sometimes those pencils are broken. He sharpens them up and helps them, and they can still write, which I think it was such a sweet reminder, how we may feel insignificant, and yet with God, we're doing his work that makes it so powerful and beautiful.
Oh,
and
yes. So that comment just reminded me of the children's book, You Are Special.
yes,
Have you guys ever read that?
I love that book. Yes.
Lucido, is it Max Lucido?
I
can't remember. Anyways.
Lucado.
Lucado. Yeah. So the first time I heard that was in my mission, and it just, anytime I start getting super negative, so it goes kind of with Denise's comment here. As I get negative, I have to remind myself that when I'm seeking the world standards, those stickers aren't going to stick on me, but when I go seek God and I go to him, he is smiling at me. And he was like, what are you talking about? You're not great. You are the greatest because I designed you, and you're perfect because I designed you. And, we have our imperfections here on earth, but our spirits are divine and from God, and he is our creator, which just makes us these amazing beings. And as we focus on that, and as we're praying in that sense of, okay, Heavenly Father, I recognize I'm thy child and that I want to do good in this earth. What is it that I can do? What is my gift that thou hast given to me? Here's the things that I think I do well. Will you guide me to see, is this a gift or is this just, and I think as we go that direction, it helps us see in new light.
Yes. Oh, I love that book. I've loved it for years. And when my dad was in the church in Sofia, he had to speak, like he did a big fireside for the whole mission there in Bulgaria. It was so fun. And I translated the book word for word in Bulgarian.
Wow.
So that he can share it, because the message, it's so simple. I'll put the book in my stories too, because it's literally one of my top favorite children's books.
Same for me.
He's done so many great ones. But again, this idea I love at the end when Eli is the character, right? And he's like, you're special. I created you, right? The part you said. And I love when he says too that I don't make mistakes.
That part I cry every time when I read that part.
Me too.
Because it reminds me that, all right, I'm not a mistake. Because I think with my chronic illness, so many times I feel I'm a mistake. I must be a defect from God because I can't do what the world thinks I should be doing right now. Because I get laid out in bed for days, sometimes weeks at a time, and I physically can't get up. And to remind myself that God doesn't make mistakes, and I'm learning in this process. And so just because my body isn't working doesn't mean that I'm a mistake. And so it's so powerful, those words. And I have to go there with myself when I am in one of my downs, because it's too easy to start focusing on worldly standards and what I should be doing versus maybe that's where God needs me to be to learn what I have to learn.
Oh, so good. Like the whole comparison, we don't need that. That's not, it's like, it's us and him, and just realizing that he is going to help us through those hard times, that we're not alone. And even if parts of our body are not 100% there working, others are, and he's there with us. So I think that's so sweet. I wanted to share this little book because it's something that we've been reading as a family. It's backwards for you guys, but it's I think it's so amazing. I actually have the audio version of it as well, because it's something to help with technology, to not be a distraction for our gifts. This is my translation for it, and I think it's so cute. It's like my tech-wise life. So her dad, Andy Crouch, wrote My Tech-Wise Family. They're Christians. I'm not sure what denomination they're from, but really, really cute family. But now his teenage daughter goes out there and she's writing a book, how to help technology not stop her creativity and her life, how to be able to control technology and to use it to its best ability, so that you can live your life. I mean, literally, like, and she goes through there's so many good quotes and ideas in here. But one of the things I thought, it's interesting, when I am up in my studio, I literally turn my phone off. Like, I can't create with the phone being on. So that's something we've been doing in our family. Like, we have this, I do it for longer, but the kids like to do it for 1 hour. This is our challenge, turn your phone off for at least 1 hour a day, like completely off, and think how much you can accomplish in your like creative sense, in your creative life, right? And maybe spend that 1 hour, if you have an hour, if not like 30 minutes, whatever the case may be, but spend that creating something that wasn't there before, something that comes out of your soul and out of your heart, something that God is going to inspire you to do, to bless others, to think, okay, God, I have this 1 hour right now, or 30 minutes, whatever time you can turn off your phone, like literally slide it off, like it's off all the way. And it's just this like, okay, what can I do now? What can I create that I can bless someone's life with? And that, of course, will be so different, like individually, like in our own circles and our own families. But that was like such a fun idea to incorporate and think, okay, now what can I create? And maybe it's soup, maybe it's dinner, maybe it's this incredible dinner. And maybe you call the missionaries, you say, do you have dinner tonight? And they come and they join you. And that's awesome. That is just as incredible, amazing as some other grand achievement, right? It's like you just did something out of your own heart and soul with your own efforts and God's power, and you are going to bless someone with it. But the power of our individual efforts is just huge to bring that light, talking about like the lantern light, right? And it's just so amazing, being able to bring that light again back into our lives and to use it really, to use it for him, for his cause and for his goodness and greatness.
Oh, I love that. I that's one of the reasons I love the temple so much, is because for 4 hours I get to turn off my phone. And
Yes.
now I come back out to literally 50 plus text messages by the time I get out. But everyone knows at the gym from 7 a.m. to 11:30, I cannot respond to them, and I will not respond to them because I'm in the temple. And it is a blessing because my mind has been enlightened. And so that is something I need to do more often in my life, is to take a few moments and just turn my phone off and be able to, I would say, ponder and meditate with the Lord of what I can do. I want to read Raquel's comment that she made. She said, we need to remember, if the veil were lifted right now and we could all see each other for who we were, or who we are created to be, we would fall on our knees in awe of our brothers and sisters' divine nature. It's beautiful.
It is. What a great comment. It's so true. And I love what Denise is saying. Celebrate our small milestones. Nothing is small to the Lord. He makes greatness out of all our efforts. Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love, okay, I have like so many books. I just realized I'm showing like,
no, I love the books.
But it's so good. There's a lot of good books out there. And I know we mentioned last enLIGHTen, we talked a little bit about Elder Groberg and the book. So I had to pull this one out. I'm like, oh, I love this. It's such a great book about the temple. And I'm going to read this quote on the back because it's like one of my most favorite ones, like ever. And I think it goes so much with the power that comes as we leave the temple and how like special we feel. Okay, so this is what he says. Every day, an aura of light flows into the temple from the fountain of eternity. As we enter the temple with a humble and receptive heart, we are bathed in that light and absorb some of it. When we leave the temple, a portion of that light goes with us and radiates to those around us, bringing increased love, goodness, and joy to all.
That I actually just saw a quote from him this morning on social media about the temple. So I'm going to have to go read this book. And it said, you know, so many people leave the temple saying, oh, I have to enter the real world. And he's like, no, you have it backwards.
Yes.
The temple is the real world. And outside is just it's just a glimpse of, I wish I'm butchering it, but just like that thought process of, you're right, I am flipping it around. And if I think celestial, like President Nelson just taught us, the temple is the real world. That is where we're supposed to be.
Yes, it's true. And it's the first chapter in this book. He talks all about that, because he kind of felt frustrated of people just leaving the temple and saying, oh, back to the real world, you know, which
I've done that so much.
Yes, I know.
I was like, oh, I like this thought process. Okay, I'm going to change it, because the temple feels like home to me.
Yes.
I love being in the temple. And so, of course, it would be the real world, because that's what feels natural and right, more so than just my day-to-day living.
Exactly. And it's the eternities, to think about that when we go there, we're part of what the eternities are going to be like. This is so sweet. So, and I love how they're encouraging like missionaries as they're preparing to go their missions to become ordnance workers.
Oh, we've had so many on my shift, and it is so fun to watch them. One of the sisters in my ward, right before she left, we got to be on the same shift for about 6 weeks, and maybe a little longer. And it was to see, I always looked up to her, but then to see her preparing for her mission and being an ordnance worker, you do see more of their divine nature and who they were made to be.
Yes. Oh, I love this comment. That's why we struggle so much in this world. We're strangers and foreigners, because the temple is celestial and mortality is celestial. Oh, yeah. So true. So true. And I literally want to make a t-shirt that says "Think Celestial."
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna make one. My daughter's like, I know how, Mom. I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna make it, because she makes her t-shirts all the time and stuff.
Oh, good.
And I'm like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, send it out, because I'll buy one.
I was just like, this would be so amazing. Oh, well, thank you, everyone. I will give this away at the end. I will put it after, you know, and the comments and the sparks on enLIGHTen, and I will this will go to one happy winner of the enLIGHTen giveaway. So I'm super excited. This will be so fun. And so many different gifts like this. The gift to be calm. Also, he talked about the gift to be calm, the gift to care. Don't we have that one as mothers? Yeah. Oh my gosh, the gift to care. I think I have a little bit too much of that one sometimes. I feel like I'm like, sometimes I wish I just didn't care so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, as a gymnastics coach, I have to tell the girls that all the time. I'm like, you have to care. I can't do all the caring for you.
I know,
you have to want it.
It's so true. It's like, oh my goodness. The gift to hear and use the small voice. He also talked about these, just so powerful. D&C 46:11. To every man is given a gift. God helps us to recognize, develop, and share our gifts, that all may profit thereby, is my earnest hope and plea. And then he says, God does live. He does bless us with our gifts. And as we develop and share our God-given gifts and benefit from the gifts of those around us, the world can be a better place, and God's work will move forward at a more rapid pace. Mm-hmm. And that's like incredible, so inspiring. And it's just like our admonition to find those, to ask God to help us. Yes, one was the gift to reap. I saw that one too. I'm like, yes, that one. Okay. There's just so many good ones.
it's not a gift for some of us.
Yeah.
Like so after my car wreck and everything, I couldn't cry. It took years to cry. I wanted to, but I couldn't physically weep anymore. And so it is a gift to be able to weep. That does not come easy for everyone.
I know. No, it's so true. It's so true. It's like, yeah, he does. Let me see. Let me find that one. Yes, he said the gift of being able to weep, of being a gift of being agreeable, a gift of avoiding vain repetition.
So that's the one that stood out to me, that it's my goal for the next little bit to work on that, because I never thought about praying is a gift. Being able to pray correctly is a gift. And so that's the one I'm walking away and I want to work on.
Oh, I love that. I have a sweet friend. He's from another denomination. He has a church up in Canada. And I was just talking to him and he said, well, I wake up at 4:30, I have a bouncing ball and I pray for like 2 hours or something. He just sits on the bouncing ball so he stays awake. That's what he said. He helps him to be on the ball and he just pours his heart out. Like, wow, that was just so impressive. I was just like, wow. But yeah, that's something definitely to be working on, and think of other ways when we prayed then to bless the refreshments, I don't know why we always say that. And the refreshments are cookies, which are not going to be that good for us at the end, but anyway, it's just, I think it's that to nourish and strengthen our bodies, bless these cookies. But it's just funny. It's one of those funny things. But I know it's good to be thinking outside and to be thinking of other things to be grateful for and to pray for. But thank you for these amazing comments. Oh, so much fun.
It was fun having everyone involved today. And that was my goal, was to read the comments and include people.
Yes, absolutely. That's the beauty of it, that we can remember those gifts that we have from above, because they are so powerful and so beautiful, and we really need them. And here's the last one. The Father of lights hears our pleas. His angels surround us, bestowing a mantle of mercy, endowing us with power beyond our own. Thanks, Peggy.
That's
from the quote.
That's exactly. Amen.
Oh, yes, that's a great way to end. Oh, you guys, thank you. Thank you, Crystal, for your light and your beautiful stories and everything you shared, and everyone on here. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next Wednesday. Carpe diem.
Bye, everyone.
God is great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.